Hey there, so I wanted to do a video that covers a couple different brands and styles of tongue drums that are available. I've gotten a lot of people that have asked me, what type of tongue drum should I get, or what are your recommendations on tongue drums? And it's always hard to answer because there's a lot of elements and variations that go into the different brands and designs. So I'm going to break down a little bit about each of these. I have 5 that I'm going to showcase in this video and just kind of help give my own personal feedback and suggestions on how to approach purchasing one on your own. Let's get into it. Okay, so the first tongue drum that I want to talk about is one that I actually purchased on Amazon. And this tongue drum has a design that's very commonly found on Amazon or other online sites. And it's going to be lower in price point. A lot of people had been asking me about tongue drums that they're finding on Amazon and what's the quality like. So I ended up purchasing one myself just to test it out. This one is 15 notes. It's about 14 inches in diameter. And I'm gonna just show you how it sounds, just to get an idea. This is gonna be the lower note. And then you can go up in the scale. So you can hear, if you listen closely, that at least from my end when I played this, I noticed that not everything is completely in tune. Some of the lower notes are fine, but then you get to the higher notes and they're a little tinny, like up here. They're kind of tinny. And they just don't sound as clear when playing all together. An interesting thing about this specific one is the listing on Amazon said that this was in C major, but when I actually did the tuning myself, I found out that it's in D major. So that's something I think is important to note when you're like looking for a specific tongue drum and you know the scale that you want. You just need to be careful about these listings that are like mass-produced tongue drums, and sometimes the information isn't correct. The reason I'm sharing about this one is because it is one of the least expensive options if you are on a budget and you're looking for just a tongue drum to either get started off to just play and experiment with before you decide if it's an instrument you want to kind of put more resources towards. I also think it's a great kind of like toy drum for kids that are just interested in learning about the tongue drum or playing songs. The nice thing is that these all have numbers, so it's a little bit easier to like correlate the different notes by number. If you have songbooks that are like play by number songbooks, this can be an easy approach for kids and just kind of helps you kind of navigate the different notes and sounds. But this would be, I would consider like a very inexpensive like starter tongue drum that is kind of more geared towards like a toy. It's not like a professional, in my opinion, musical instrument or something I would ever use for sound healings, but it is one to consider if A, you're on a budget and you just want something to play around with. The next type of tongue drum I want to share about is this Harmonic Star steel tongue drum. And the reason they call it the star is because you can actually play the scale in the shape and design of a star. So, which is kind of fun. The scale for this drum is in D major, and it has 11 different notes. One thing that's also interesting about this brand and this tongue drum is that it comes with a songbook, and all of the notes are labeled by numbers, and they have a lot of different songs that are easy to play and learn, and they're marked by number, so you don't have to necessarily be able to read music or even know how to play the song. You're just kind of like going based off of the number. And they have a lot of video tutorials of the songs on their website. This one, the price range was around $75. It's currently on sale, so their normal price is around $200, but it's on sale right now for $75. And this is also an interesting brand to actually consider if you're just starting out, mostly because it's geared towards beginners. And there's a lot of like education on the website for using these in classrooms for kids to learn musical instruments. It's not as pricey as some of the other tongue drums, but it's kind of a fun design and very easy to play. It comes with rubber mallets, which is nice, and you can get a lot of fun, pretty clear sounds out of this tongue drum. This is one of the ones that I got early on, and I still find it fun to play with. I don't use this one when I do my sound healings, just because I feel like still the quality and the tuning of the sound isn't as good as some other brands that I found, but I still love playing this one. When I do group classes, I often bring this one into the mix because it's a little easier to play with other tongue drums. So this would be one that I would say could be an option for, again, someone on a budget looking for a good steel tongue drum, but a little bit, I think, I would say more impressive, and the tuning's a little bit better than some of the ones I've seen on Amazon. I'd also like to share that if you know for sure you want a D major scale for the tongue drum, this could be a good option. Unfortunately, they don't have a ton of other scales or other options besides this specific scale and design on their website. So right now it looks like this is just the only one you can purchase. So if you know that this is the scale you like and the size and the price point is right for you, this could be a fun one to consider. So the next tongue drum I want to look at is the HAPI tongue drum brand. And HAPI actually stands for Hand Activated Percussion Instrument. So what's interesting about this one is they do give you mallets to play with this tongue drum, but you can also play with your hands as well. The notes on this tongue drum are a little bit bigger and wider, so it is a lot more approachable to play with your hand, and I will show an example quickly of the difference with playing with the mallets and the hands so you can hear the sound difference. So that is with the mallets, and you can play around and get some different notes and different sounds. You can also play around with playing this on the pads of your fingers on each note. So obviously with the mallets, you're getting a little bit of a louder, more distinct sound. When you play with your hands, it's a little bit more dampened. It's a little bit more of a softer sound, but both options are possible, which make this kind of fun. The other thing to mention about the design for this tongue drum is the shape of their tongues. So a lot of different brands will design different shapes or styles of the actual tongue notes. And what's interesting about ones that are rectangle and have the edges is that the sound tends to be a little bit sharper. So you're gonna get a little bit more of a distinct, sharper sound versus tongues that have more curved shapes. Those are gonna be a little bit more softer. This tongue drum specifically, this one is in E minor, and it's a pentatonic scale, which means you can approach this tongue drum as a beginner and play the different notes and really not worry about hitting a note that doesn't blend with the one before or after. So the pentatonic scale means that all the notes are in harmony. So it's very easy to just play around and get really nice sounds. On HAPI's website, you can see a list of all their different sizes and shapes and designs of their tongue drums. They have some smaller ones and a few that are a little bit bigger, and a few that are in different scales. But what's nice is it seems like all of their tongue drums are in pentatonic scale. So whichever one you choose, it's gonna sound really good and they're gonna blend together. Another thing to note about this brand is that they are actually in the US, and each one is hand-tuned. So you're gonna get a little bit higher craft to this specific drum. You can tell that it's, the people have taken a little bit more time just designing and tuning this brand, which I really like. I'd also say that this brand of tongue drums is really great for people who are musicians and like really looking for a fun tongue drum instrument to jam out and play with. They have actual microphones that you can also purchase that stick on the side of the drums, and so you can actually mic them so you can get a louder sound coming out of speakers or for headphones, which is really cool. And another thing to note is that the price range for these range from around $150 to $300. All right, so the last brand of tongue drum that I want to talk about is this one, which is the Kosmosky steel tongue drum. And this is a brand that I've worked with over the past several years, and I really love what they're doing with sound when they're making and designing their tongue drums. One thing that I really love is that you're able to actually customize your tongue drums to a pretty interesting degree. They have a lot of different options for choosing a tongue drum that really fits your needs and your design and what you're using it for. They have a really wide variety of scales that you can choose from, and even to the point of the type of scale. If you want a pentatonic or more of a natural scale or a heptatonic, there's a lot of different options that you can choose from on their website, which is great. Another thing is that they've been tweaking the sound of their tongue drums over the years, and I feel like each time I get a new one, the sound is just like getting better and better. I actually use the Kosmosky tongue drums the most for meditation and sound healings, because I feel like they have a really strong, powerful sound. This one right here is their 22 centimeter tongue drum. And this one is in B minor, and I'm gonna play it for you so you can hear. What's also really neat about their tongue drums is that they have so many different designs that they've sketched onto the tops of the tongue drum and even the sides, which is really neat. And you can actually even customize your own design if you have like an image or a graphic you want. So these are like not only a beautiful instrument, but really, in my opinion, a piece of art. There's a lot of detail that goes into these, and it is reflected in the price range. So if you look on their website, you'll notice some ranging from $250 all the way up to $550. And that's kind of a reflection of just the time they take to design these. They're fine-tuning them. They're really making sure that you're getting the most beautiful sound out of their tongue drums. And just because I've been using their drums for over the past couple years, I've I'm just more experienced with it, and that may be a bias, but I do think that they really put together a very high quality tongue drum instrument that I would recommend for musicians and for just practitioners using it for meditation or for sound healing. So like I said, this is their standard 22 centimeter size, but I also want to share one of their newer designs, which is their Duvatone. This is the Duvatone. This is also in B minor, and it's a little bit larger, but the sound quality that comes out of this is so much richer and clear. And part of that is because they have a lot more richer overtones, and the way that they are designing the sound for this is a little bit different than they do with their other smaller previous versions. So what's interesting about the tongues on the Duvatones and their other ones is that, like I said, they're shaped in a very rounded way. So the sound in general is just going to blend together really nice and be a little bit softer. It's not going to be as sharp and just forceful, which is a part of the reason why I love using these tongue drums for meditation and sound healing. But I'm going to play this so you can see, because the way that they've designed these slits inside of the tongue drum and each of their tongues really allows for these really rich overtones that blend together very nicely and very resonant when you play. So this is just another option to consider if you are leading a class where you're playing this for a lot of people and you need the sound to just reach a little further. I also have been using this a lot for my private sound healing sessions and just meditation. So just wanted to share this one because it's a newer design and version that can be found on the Kosmosky website. So thank you for taking the time to watch this video. I hope some of my personal experience and suggestions and thoughts about the tongue drums are helpful for guiding you on how to maybe consider purchasing one or getting your own for yourself. If there are any that I missed that people really love and could suggest, please put that in the comments and let me know. I'm always interested in new designs and makers out there, and there's always new ones popping up. So if there's some I missed, please get them on my radar. I'm going to be putting links to each of these in the description for this video, so you can look into them on your own and just kind of see what's out there. So thanks again for watching, and happy tongue drumming.